Hello folks, and welcome back to Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. I am Stip, and this is going to be part 1 of my Barbarian Invasion campaign where I'm playing as the Sassanids, and sometimes I feel like this menu music can be a little bit loud, so I'm going to just jump right on into the campaign before I introduce myself and this campaign to new people to this channel. So let's go into single player, and it's going to be the main campaign. We will be playing on very hard difficulty here, and then yeah, manage all sentiments, follow AI characters, no battle time limit. I like having this off just so that if the AI doesn't attack me for some reason, I can just still resolve battles by using the timer. That's okay in my mind. And I will be playing this game, as I said before, with the Sassanids. Now, I am going to read this off because I think this can be some pretty good information, and it kind of sets the setting here. So, difficulty factor is estimated moderate. We are in the year 363 AD, and the Sassanids were the last native dynasty to rule in Persia after the Parthians were overthrown and before the Arab conquest of later centuries. Sitting astride the trade routes to the east, the Sassanid court was fabulously opulent, and the empire was dynamic and efficiently run. The military was equally efficient and dangerous, and a constant challenge to the Eastern Roman Empire. What caused much of the tension with the Romans was the establishment of the Zoroastrianism as a state religion in Sassanid lands and the subsequent persecution of Christians. Oh, I'm getting lost here. This gave the Romans a pretext for war whenever it was needed. The Sassanids were certainly organized enough to expand their control of Armenia and to hold off the various steppe peoples, rather than move southwards into Sassanid lands. Most of these chose to head west towards the richer and far easier pickings of Rome. A strong Sassanid leader has the chance to expand westwards, while both halves of the Roman Empire are distracted by their own squabbles and barbarian hordes. Historically, the Sassanids lasted over 400 years, from the fall of the Parthians until the coming of Islam and the Arabs. Islam replaced Zoroastrianism, and the Caliphate made Persia a part of a new society. That's that. So in the Barbarian Invasion campaign, it's just going to be the one type of campaign. There's no long or short. So here, our mission is to hold 20 settlements, including Egyptus, which is Egypt, and then Palestina, which is Palestine right next to Egypt, and then Thracia, which is the place that holds Byzantium, I believe, Constantinople. So as you can see, yeah, the menu music gets quite loud, doesn't it? So let's jump on into the quieter campaign strategy map soundtrack. Yeah, now I can hear myself think a little bit. A storm from the east. From out of the steppes comes a new menace to the world. The Huns are the finest cavalry warriors the world has yet seen, and their rivals, or should that be victims, would do well to look to their defenses. This is a time to strengthen borders, fortify cities, and reinforce armies because, by the heavens, a storm is coming. And then a powerful faith, paganism. Faith has the power to move men's hearts. This religion has become the dominant faith, followed by a majority of people in the known world. And then we have a people in flight, Vandals. These people have been forced to flee for their lives with all the women, children, herds, goods, and chattels. Nothing has been left behind for the invader, but now they must travel far and fast to find a new home. Well, I don't think that any of that really has anything to do with us, because we're over here in the eastern corner or part of the map, and we have pretty solid borders. But before I get into this campaign and explain it and introduce it, I want to talk a little bit about my channel for those of you who are new. Before I do that, I want to welcome back everyone that's been with me for a while. It's good to have you back. Love having you guys with your comments and helping me guide me through these games, and also expressing your passion and enthusiasm for these games. It's been really fun, and it's turned into one of my favorite parts of running this channel. It was kind of surprised me how fun it is to interact with folks and to take these single player games but then kind of turn it into a community aspect, which has been lost. Well, I don't want to say been lost, but it's something that I wasn't anticipating the joy of that. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, and it's been a real pleasure. And for those of you who are new to this channel, I'm happy to say that I have a pretty active group of folks here that are pretty passionate about these games. And so if you want to join that community, by all means, subscribe to the channel and become a part of it. I'm currently playing Rome and Medieval 1. The theme of my channel is that I have been celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Total War games, going back to Shogun 1. I started this channel in the year 2020, and I've been celebrating each subsequent game's 20th anniversary. And this channel is a way to sort of chronicle my journey through the Total War franchise. I hadn't played it before starting this channel. I hadn't even played PC games before starting this channel. So yeah, you heard that right. I had to learn mouse and keyboard to start this channel. It was a rough beginning. I've come a long ways. And I'm happy to say though, when I do start these campaigns, I try to have some level of, I don't want to say expertise, but some level of familiarity with these campaigns. So I'm not just jumping into it raw and fresh. As you saw, I did start this campaign. I did place it on the highest difficulty because I think that I can manage that. With that being said, this is going to be the rawest and roughest campaign on this channel. Just a heads up. I haven't had enough practice with this campaign, with this really with the Barbarian Invasion campaign, as I would like to. I just haven't been able to get into it and practice and get the reps in as much as I would like, but I'll figure it out. And I think that I'm expecting some help. I'm expecting some help from y'all to answer my questions and to help me out here. So I did start playing Rome, the original game, last year, and I'm still on my first 2 campaigns that I started, whereas with the Julia in Egypt as well. I'm pretty deep into those campaigns, and it's been a long one. And for those of you who are new to this channel, if you can't tell already, just a heads up, I don't want you to waste your time if this isn't your jam, but I do like to take my time and explain things, and to explain the factions and explain my decisions and talk through the unit matchups and the tech trees, and I like to explore features in the game that might not be used by people. Like, I'm not too infatuated with the meta. Obviously, I don't have enough experience to know the meta, but it being a strategy game, I can guess that the meta involves blitzing, right? It's pretty common. Blitzing I find to be pretty boring. I don't like the idea of just taking out a campaign and running through it without being able to explore it, really. I like being able to explore the full unit roster as much as I can, and also the building trees as well, and other mechanics, things that might not be meta, but I like to explore diplomacy and the subterfuge and the espionage stuff as well as I can. I felt like there were some pretty good options to explore these things in Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, a surprising amount, really. And I'm still learning how to get the most out of my agents in Rome so far. The fact that they grow old and die, for one thing, is very inconvenient, but I get it. That's how that works. In Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, it was quite nice to have agents that just stayed alive forever. And in those games, they didn't cost upkeep. So the fact that they cost upkeep in this game is like, whoa, it's expensive to keep an assassin and a spy in the field. So there's a big learning curve for me to really learn how to get the most out of my agents, but I'm going to continue to try at that. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of room for diplomacy in this specific campaign, just because, just as a bit of introduction, one thing that I like about the Sassanid campaigns when it comes to being introduced to the Barbarian Invasion campaign is that the northern flank is like pretty much empty. I don't know exactly what's up. I think the Roxolani are somewhere around here. They are a faction that can hoard. I don't know what the likelihood of them being a powerful threatening neighbor up here. I don't know what the chances of that are. I just don't have the reps in this campaign. But if that does happen, there are choke points through the Caucasus Mountains up here that I can hold. I don't think they can come through here, but I could possibly hold here, here, and then here with border forts and just kind of hold if it came to that. But I kind of doubt it. And then down here to the south, again, it's kind of a big old open wasteland of desert. There is a settlement here, Demantha, and then there is also... it's slipping my mind right now. I think it starts with a P. What is it? I can't remember. Is it Petra? Is it Petra? It might be Petra. But that's it. Those two territories, I think, or those two settlements hold the entire territory of the southeast part of the map, which is pretty bonkers if you ask me. So that and they're rebel held. You know, Petra will probably belong to the Romans pretty soon, but Demantha is mine for the taking, I guess, if I want it. And so that leaves just the Romans, and I think this is the first Total War campaign that I've played where a faction does actually start out as enemies with someone, which is interesting, because we are already at war with the Romans. Now, you can just say, duh, that was going to happen, and that's supposed to happen, but yeah, I think it's cool that they just put it right there, and they said, this is what you're doing. Don't think... It's a sandbox, but not that much of a sandbox, okay? You're going to fight the Romans if you play as the Sassanids. So I think that's kind of cool, and the Romans are directly to the west of me. They're not... They're nowhere else. They're just in this direction. So... Also, it's kind of nice you can kind of see the 3 target settlements here in... Is it Byzantium or Constantinople by now? I think it was Constantinople because Constantine the Great was before 363, right? Oh, fuck, I don't know. I don't know. And then, yeah, Palestine and then Egypt or... Is it Alexandria? I think it's still Alexandria. It's always been Alexandria. Does that change? See, it tells you what I know. I'm happy that by playing Total War games, I've been able to be passionate to learn more about history, but as you can tell, I have a long ways to go. So, yeah, back to like kind of how this channel, how I like to play. So I don't like to play the meta, I already covered that. I like to use, you know, balanced armies. I don't really like to go full on with, you know, this is the most powerful unit, let's just use that unit. This kind of bores me. It kind of does. Obviously, I want to play to my strengths. Yes, I want to win. Yeah, but I think that I can still win by having interesting armies. So right off the bat, like if these things aren't, you know, ticking the boxes for you, and if you know you'd rather have a faster gameplay, they're available. People play these games, especially these older games, quite quickly on YouTube. I recommend quality old games. I was just watching his Sassanid campaign before I started this one, looking for advice. I've watched it in full before, but I can't replicate what he does, and so I was trying to like watch it again before I started recording, and I was trying to get some ideas, and I can't figure out what he does. I can't. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I'll get into that more soon. But yeah, I don't want you guys to waste your time if this channel, if this style is not your cup of tea. There's really good YouTube channels that do play this game a lot faster than what I'm going to do. Okay, I think that's that. Yeah, I think that's good and covered for who I am and what I'm about, I think, for now at least. So let's actually talk about this campaign and what's going on here. So as far as my excuses, this is the excuses section of the video where I get to tell you why I'm not good at this. Typically, I try to get a certain number of hours into these campaigns before I get up on and start recording stuff and then putting them on YouTube. I don't like to do first impression type stuff for 20-year-old games. It doesn't seem like, who cares, right? Like, you don't want to watch someone fumble around and not know what's going on with a 20-year-old game. That's kind of silly. No offense. If that's your jam, that's your jam. I think that's silly though, and I don't want to subject you to that. However, with this campaign, I'm kind of going to. I'm really struggling, guys. I'll tell you. I'll be honest. When it came to Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, I had a really, I want to say, relatively easy time of just getting the reps in and practicing my opening moves, and for some campaigns, just practicing the entire campaigns. And just getting the experience under my belt, and just kind of like getting the time in, getting the reps in, as I was saying. And ever since I started playing Rome, I don't know if it's the 3D battle map, which is slower paced. It's slower paced. It's it really takes time to develop roads and stuff, and certain factions don't even have the nice roads. And even using navies, like you use your navies to transport armies in Medieval 1, and then even Shogun 1, you can use ports to transport navies, and you can imagine there's a navy there, and it can be across the entire map in one turn if you have 2 ports connecting an area. And in this game, even using navies, which are the fastest way of travel, it's still a long time to move from one area to another. So there's aspects of this game's speed that I haven't quite picked. I haven't quite like, you know, that's I can see why people like blitzing in this game, because if you do get bogged down, it can be a slog, you know, as I'm experiencing in my Julia campaigns and my Egypt campaigns. So I get it. I do understand why blitzing is favored in this game. I'm not going to pretend like I don't understand that. So I want to make that clear. I get it. I do understand. There's other aspects to this campaign and Rome and Barbarian Invasion, I suppose, that do sort of like muck up the practice reps portions of me trying to practice these campaigns, which is the brigands. Brigands so far in my experience in Total War games, again, just in the first 3 Total War games, brigands are the worst thing of all the first 3 games. There's nothing in Medieval 1 and Shogun 1 that are as bad as the brigands in Rome 1. They are awful, and they make it difficult to practice those early moves. Like in Shogun 1, in Shogun and Medieval, I can kind of practice those openings, like kind of like a chess game, you know? And I can just kind of get the opening down, right? So that I can at least get my feet underneath me and get this campaign up on YouTube and kind of look like I know what I'm doing. And in Rome, and you know, so far in Barbarian Invasion, man, these brigands. Okay, just as like an example, right? I was trying to like copy old quality old games. Again, before I started recording today, I watched some of his videos for the Sassanids campaign, and then I was like, look, okay, let's just try one more time before I start recording and see if I can duplicate what he was doing. And you can't replicate the same things because the brigands just, like if you have a brigand on your roads, then he blocks your trade, right? And also, if he's on your roads, the roads are the fastest routes of travel for your armies, right? So then you have to go, if you're going to ignore them for one thing, and if you're just trying to get some reps in, right? They're going to make the travel longer because you have to leave the road and then go back on the road to go around those brigands. But then also, it's hard to ignore them if they're on your roads because they're cutting off your income for your settlement, and then they're not making your practice reps accurate because then the money's all different. You know, you're going to have an entire section of your income cut off at that point. And then, so like... And this was just in like a handful of like quick, I don't know, I maybe played like 10 quick turns, just auto-resolving battles and just trying to see how things would shake out here. And I ended up with like, so Antioch's right here for those of you who don't know. And Antioch is like the key, the fulcrum point to the Eastern Roman Empire's empire. If you take it, this is my guess and my understanding is that if you place the Sassanids, that should be the first thing that you take is Antioch, and then everything else that the Romans try to do kind of crumbles around you because it's so well defended. There's 2 river crossing points here and there. You can block up the valleys with forts or armies or whatever you want to do, really. Antioch itself, I think, is a tier 4 city. I think it's a large city. So once you have it, you can just recruit a lot of stuff there as well and make a lot of money, and it messes up the Romans. It's a place to take. It's probably the meta move for playing the Sassanids. However, in all of my freaking time practicing this campaign, I can't take the settlement. I don't get it. People are like, yeah, the Sassanids are the best army in the... I don't know. The Roman army seems pretty fucking good, guys. You know, I feel like I'm not that bad at using armies in battle, but the Roman armies are kind of chunky. So it's honestly kind of frustrating. Like, because I see Antioch and I'm like, yeah, obviously that's the first move. That's what I'm supposed to take. You're supposed to take Antioch. And then I watch Quality Old Games play and he takes Antioch and it's like, okay, I'll just do that. It's like empty. It was like two units inside of it when I took it. And I followed him exactly. And this isn't the only time that I did this. I've done it on my own like months ago when I was practicing this campaign. And you can kind of like get here. First off, you don't want to immediately pull the river crossing. It's tempting, and I did it as well. I've tried it here as well with this bridge and then this army holding this, just thinking, hey, at least I can keep my border safe. The Roman armies will just kind of just hit you, and you'll think it's a river crossing. It's fine. I'm fine. No, the Roman armies are kind of built for those. It's like the river crossing is better for them because they just have these heavily armed chunky boys that just kind of like march in a straight line. And you think you're gonna like dance around them and shoot at them and stuff. No, because their archers are better than my archers. They at least have better armor. I don't know about their attack stats, or the missile attack stats, but their Eastern archers, I think they're called Eastern archers, they have better armor. So you'll lose a missile duel, and you'll just lose everything. Their infantry will just chunk through yours, and you'll lose breach battles as a defender. Like, it's insane. I've never experienced that in a Total War game where you just like lose the bridge battle as the defender, with like somewhat evenly numbered armies, right? So I stopped doing that because that's what they would just attack immediately. Now, if I don't take those bridges right away, then they don't attack immediately. So I don't really know how long it takes for them to attack. I haven't let it go that far. But what I tried to do a number of times, and just recently today, like I'm using my spies to look around, right? And at one point, like, there's a brigand army, just a fat old brigand army that just like sat right on the northern bridge. And the Antioch's like right here. There's a bridge right here. In fact, I can just do this.
Your humble servant.
This is my diplomat, yeah. So we're gonna go look at Antioch.
Yes, my liege.
And as you can see, yes, I know my path is blocked. There's a city there. Antioch, right now, this is like insurmountable. I could probably gather every troop in my empire and hit Antioch right now, and I would probably lose. This is like Eastern archers. Can I see their stats? Yeah, they have a missile attack of 9. I have a missile attack of 7 on my guys, my archers. Give me the Tenseis. They're just tanks. They're tanky boys. They got 25 defense, 10 armor, 9 defense skill, and 6 shield. They're tanks. It's just tanks. And even the Limitani are like decent spearmen. So can we see any of their stats? No. And this is the faction leader, I think. Maybe he is 3-star general. Anyway, I'm still talking about the brigands. I'm not want to stay on track with that. That messed up that practice. I'm looking at that, and then in that same practice run again earlier today, I don't know if I missed them or what, but then like a brigand army came out of nowhere. I don't think I missed them. I think they literally spawned and then attacked Arsacia when I had just a unit of peasants inside of it. And everything that I had was off on my frontiers fighting stuff. I had nothing. I had nothing in Arctic Sarta, Fraspa, or Arsacia or Tessifan that was not a peasant. It was just like, fuck. Like it was like, oh, I just lost one of my settlements to brigands. They attacked immediately. They spawned and attacked. They didn't wait a turn. They attacked immediately. And it's hard to get practice reps in when you're playing a campaign like that. So there's my excuses. Yeah, I know, but it's excuses. The dog ate my homework, but it's hard. It's hard to get your reps in with a game that like does that to you. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'm not enjoying Rome. Okay, I want to make that clear. And I'm really looking forward to Barbarian Invasion. I think that just on first impressions, I think this campaign fixes a lot of problems that I have with Rome. And Rome does a lot of things better than in medieval and Shogun as well. There's a lot of give and take. So I don't want to like paint that picture, but I am going to stand by what I said with Brigands being the worst thing of the 3 games. Of all the things that are supposed to be in game, I'm talking about bugs. I'm not talking about missing features and mechanics. I'm talking about something that was put in intentionally, and it works the way it's supposed to, and it sucks. The Brigands are the thing that's worst of the first 3 games. That's my statement, and I stand by that. And it makes it hard for me to get my practice runs in. Anyway, okay, that's enough of excuses. We have Artavardia, the kill. Artavardia. I kind of said it right. He's gonna just go over this bridge, and there's a guy that is waiting to be killed. This is a Roman diplomat. 1 influence. My guy has 4 influence. He's an expert assassin.
I kill to please you.
Yes, you do. So there's going to be a 79% chance of killing this guy, so yes, kill him. Wonderful. And it looks like yep, that's a success. And he did gain himself his skill to courtesan, so +2 the agent skill. So now he's a 6 eyeball assassin. That's wonderful. And from there, I think I just to kind of scout around.
By your will. Moving to position. By your will.
So now we have eyes on Tarsus, and we can see, again, that's another garrison that even if I did rush it, it'd be like, no, I can't take it. Oh, and yeah, Antioch, by the way, also, yep, just so you know, at least 5 of these units are going to leave at the end of this turn, which is what tempts me to take it. Like, it empties out, and you go, oh yeah, I can take it. Oh yeah, let's just go. And I can't. It's like, it's a lie. It's like a trick. I don't know what it is. It's so confusing. I'll tell you what. What's that? It reminds me of that part in that movie. Is it was it Famous Heroes with Chris Farley and Matthew Perry, where they play the explorers that are trying to find the West Coast before Lewis and Clark? And there's this bit where Chris Farley is climbing this tree to get an eagle's egg because it's to heal his dying friend. And he grabs an egg, and the eagle comes out, and it grabs him, and it carries him, and it takes him off, and it drops him somewhere. And so he has to climb back up this tree again. And this time he's scanning the skies, he's looking around, and he's looking for that eagle. And the coast is clear, there's no eagle, so he grabs an egg, and the eagle just comes out of nowhere, caw, caw, and it grabs him, and it flies, and it takes him, and it drops him again. And then he has to climb back up that tree a third time. And this time he's scanning, and he's sticking his hand in the nest to test it out, and he's touching around the eggs to see if the eagle comes, and the eagle's not coming, it's not there. So then he grabs the egg, and as soon as he grabs the egg, the eagle comes again and grabs him, and it takes him, and it drops him again. And I'm not going to tell you the punchline to that joke because I don't want to ruin that joke if you haven't seen the movie. But that's how I feel when I'm going after Antioch. I see it empty out. There's like no one there. It's just the faction leader and 1 unit of Comita Tenseis. And I'm looking around, and there's like nothing, and I'm like, all right, so wait, the coast is, I'm good, let's go. I'm Hatra, I'm 2 turns away, I can get there so fast. I think it's still 2 turns, even with infantry. Even with infantry, I could get there in 2 turns. So it should be, I should be able to take it. But I cross this fucking river, and then like, there's like, you know, like stacks upon stacks of Romans just come out of the goddamn woodworks. And I can't beat them. So I rewatched Quality Old Games Part 1, where he takes Antioch, and I've nothing against the guy, but it's such bullshit. I don't know what he did. Turn 2, he started moving. Turn 3, he laid siege. Turn 4, he attacked. Actually, no, he laid siege for an extra turn. So it's turn 5 that he attacked. He laid siege for 2 turns. He was 2 turns sitting outside Antioch, and nothing came. Nothing came. So I don't know what's going on here. Just something that I should talk about, because I know that someone's going to ask the question. I am playing this on the default. I can't remember what the exact name of it is called, but the default unit size settings. So the Levy Spears are going to have on 120 men. The base unit size is going to be 80 men. Cav is going to be 54. I like using that rather than doing the biggest unit size for a few reasons. Pathfinding inside of settlements during siege battles sucks less using this unit size. Also, I have a theory, and I don't have enough experience in this game to confirm this theory, but based on how my Julia and Egypt campaigns are going, this might be true. And that is that I feel like playing on this unit size makes it a little bit easier for factions that have a base unit of 120 men for their like tier 1 unit. And I'm talking specifically about the original Rome 1 campaign and not this campaign, but it's probably true for this campaign as well. So the Barbarians, for instance, their tier 1 units are the Warband, which is 120 man units. And I think that my guess is that when you play on the hugest, largest unit scale, that really empties out their population, and it really hampers their ability to tech up and to actually get any units that are, you know, higher than tier 1, and it makes it difficult for them to continue to field armies. You know, because once they empty out their populations, that's it. That's all gone. And I think that that's true. I tried it in my 2 campaigns that I'm playing so far, and it's been grindy as hell. Now, some of that is due to my slower play style, and just so you know, all of my videos won't be this talkative about mechanics and not playing the stuff, but for my part 1s are always like this. Just so you know, the play does get faster as we go along. But anyway, That's why I play on this unit scale, so that I do think that it gives these other factions more of a chance to compete, I think. Now, is it too grindy? Is it too slow paced? Do the other factions have too much manpower available to them, and is there too much fighting due to this? It's hard for me to say quite yet, just because I do have a slow play style that obviously contributes to this. But if I play faster, you know, will this still be a thing? I don't know. I don't know. That's something that I'm curious about, but I just wanted to talk about that because I do like to have other factions be competitive rather than just like Rome, right? Or I don't know who was competitive in the Barbarian Invasion campaign. I don't know who the top dogs are, but that's my explanation for that. I might try the large unit scale at some point, but the thing is that when people talk about the scale of the battles and they say, just, you know, the scale, the large units look better. To me, what looks better is it's the battles and the map. I like to see battles that have more than one unit type on the enemy armies, and I like to see maps that aren't empty. I like to see, you know, competitive fighting factions that have a chance to compete. And what saddens me is when I see that a faction just is all spent and they don't have the resources to even field an army or to tech up or to do anything interesting. That makes me a sad con because I'm used to Shogun 1 and Medieval 1 that has a lot of campaign features that make the campaign stay alive throughout the entire game, like faction reemergences and civil wars. In the Rome base game, it doesn't have those things, so the campaign really dies, which makes me sad. Now, one of the things I'm really looking forward to in the Barbarian Invasion campaign is that I think that there's more, what's the word? Dynamic stuff happening. Civil wars can happen with the Roman factions and just the Roman factions. I think there's emergent factions like the Romano-British up in guess where, Britain, and then there's emergent horde factions like the Ostrogoths. There's horde factions, which I don't know if we're going to get to see any of them in this campaign, but they exist. And there's a lot of stuff in this campaign that makes it feel alive. So maybe the issues and my complaints about that unit scale that exist in the base game for Rome aren't as important for this game. Also, the settlements are bigger as well. The settlements have more population because they're more teched up. So it does make me wonder. It does. It makes me kind of wonder if the largest unit scale would be enjoyable on this campaign. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on this. I don't have the most amount of experience in this game, so I'm always curious to hear what your thoughts and do you think, like, what are your thoughts on the unit sizes and how they affect the actual strategy map portion of the campaign? And do you notice that at all? I'm just curious. All right, back to this. Let's maybe do a thing or two here. Right. So I don't know if I can take Antioch, but I was kind of toying around with some stuff earlier today that I kind of liked some of the things that was happening in Hatra. I was kind of bouncing around a little bit and drawing a lot of their attention here, and kind of, I don't know, I placed some like forts around here. It's kind of cool. You can place forts in enemy territory, which is kind of cool. And just being annoying, like not attacking Antioch because I knew I couldn't, but just drawing attention to myself. And then while that was happening, I had already taken, there's a rebel settlement right here that I had taken, and then I had taken Demantha, which is another rebel settlement. But what I was thinking at that point in this little practice session was that I think it's Sinope, I believe. And that was looking rather wide open. There was like only a couple units inside of it. And I was thinking maybe that's the key then, for me at least, is to nip around the edges instead of going right into the heart of the Roman Empire. Nip around the edges and maybe take Sinope and then maybe build like a bridgehead there and then attack into Caesarea. And maybe using Demantha, I can use that as a staging ground into like through the desert into the Egyptian provinces of the Eastern Roman Empire. They only have this, right? Like they only have, I don't think they have anything west of Alexandria. So, and actually, yeah, do these settlements even exist? Because I know the Barbarian Invasion campaign has less settlements, which is weird to me. I don't know why they did that. I guess just to kind of speed up the campaign, maybe. But in this campaign, if I just take Alexandria, is that all of Egypt for me? Actually, I'm just realizing. Why do I have vision on? Oh yeah, that's a objective. I get it. Yep. The question is though, is Dimantha really worth taking? It's a small tier 1 town. There's nothing there. It's going to take a long time for it to build up so that before it can contribute to anything. And it's going to, take resources as well to build that up. I don't know. It's hard to say. On one hand, the units that I'm going to send to take Dimantha could be used, in the fight against the Romans. But I don't think they're going to tip the scales, honestly. As I keep mentioning, I don't think my armies can beat the Roman armies head on. It hasn't been happening for me, at least. Even with Clipinari, everyone's like, the Clipinari, the best unit. I don't know. They're good. Yeah, they're good. They're good. The Clipinari good. The Clipinari Immortals, again, people say this is the best melee unit in the game. If I can I see this bodyguard unit? Do I need to bring him out of the... I think I need to take him out of the settlement before I can see his bodyguard unit. Yeah, that's fine. But we'll start working towards... There's a rebel settlement here we can send our spy towards so that he can possibly infiltrate it for us. Oh, it's a bridge right there. I don't think people can go through here, can they? Can people go along their path here? Like, why else would there be a bridge there, right? It'd be kind of... Just to get, to this little pocket here. Interesting. This guy, the factionaire, he's going to be hanging out in Arctic Sarda for a turn, and he's going to be waiting for backup to come from Fraspa. This is my best general. I only have 3 characters in this faction right now. It's going to be the faction leader down here, Shapur. He's probably the worst general that I have, but he's like a decent governor of cities or settlements. 3 management, 1 command star, 2 influence. For those of you who are new to this game, management does increase the money that settlements make. Influence increases the public order, the loyalty of a settlement. And it does also increase the general's bodyguard size. Like, it can add men to that bodyguard's size. And it does also play a factor in his radius, his command radius as well. There's a bit of a controversy, is that the right word for it? There's a bit of controversy regarding, do command stars actually do anything in Rome? And they do. I'm pleased to announce that they do actually do something. I have gone into the code for this game, and I did make a video about this. I made a short about the command stars in Rome Total War and the effect that they have on the units in the battlefield. I don't have the exact stats memorized, but it teams up with influence. Influence and command both dictate the command radius that he has on the battlefield. And that radius is going to, have to do with his rally command, I believe. So when he does rally, that gives +7 morale to the units that are in that radius. It's not visible on the OG Rome, but I believe it's visible on the remastered version. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, why am I even playing the OG? Why am I not playing the remaster? I'm a half hour into this. I'm just remembered I hadn't mentioned that. Again, just... It has nothing against the remaster. The remaster looks awesome. I'm just not playing it because I'm celebrating the 20th anniversary of Rome, not the remaster. I just haven't gotten to it. So when I get to it, I'll get to the 20th anniversary of the remaster in due time. But yeah, I like part of the channel is comparing and experiencing, and I want to experience this franchise as people experience this franchise when the franchise was first being put out. So I don't want to play the new games and then go back to play the old games and be like, oh, these controls are so hard. No, I'm coming to Rome and being like, hey, these controls are kind of nice, because I'm coming from Medieval 1 and Shogun 1. Okay, that's that. Back to this guy. So yeah, we've covered the stats for him. Silk Merchant, 10% bonus on all trade income, so it's good for economy. Shield Bearer, -1 morale for all troops on the battlefield. That sucks. So a great general needs supporters and defenders on the battlefield. Why would the Shield Bearer do -1 morale? That doesn't make sense. But it's +2 to your general's hit points, so it makes my general harder to kill, but his troops are going to be less morale. Yeah, he's a bad leader. The Scribe, +1 management, and then 10% bonus on all trade income. So again, with the Silk Merchant, that's good trade. That's 20% trade boost between those two guys. And then Overseer, -1 influence and +1 to farming output. So that's going to, you know, if you put him in a good farming place, which might be Tessafan, might be good farming. If you kind of look around, it looks like it's nice and farmy. Looks like a farmy kind of place. If we look at his traits, faction leader, +2 influence, +1 command, +3 to personal security. So that's going to make his, make it harder for him to be assassinated, but also I think it, yeah, improves his chances of detecting and foiling assassination attempts. I think that includes making it so that if like spies and assassins go inside the settlement that he's inside of, it makes it so that there's a better chance of him detecting them. And then Heartless Ruler, +1 influence, severe, +2 to unrest, and then +4 to law. So that's a little bit of a back and forth right there. Law improves public order, unrest negates public order. +4 though is more than +2. So overall, I think this is a benefit. Also, law in addition to increasing public order, law also does reduce corruption. So settlements that are further away from your capital settlement are going to have corruption typically, and corruption does reduce the amount of income that that settlement's making. So if we look here to Hatra and go to the details, no corruption there. Okay, I'm trying to prove a point, guys. So give me something good. Nope, nothing. Nothing there and nothing there. We have no corruption in our empire. Wonderful. So, if we did have corruption, it would be showing up right here. It'd be like a hand symbol, and that shows you how much that's being taken from you because of your your corrupt administration. Okay, so going back to the guy, Shapur. Where were we? Severe, yeah, that's Master Trader, 30% bonus in all trade income. So right there, 30% along with the Scribe and the Silk Merchant, that's 50% increase in trade income. So he should probably be somewhere where there's a lot of trade. And Cruelly Efficient Taxman, let's see, that's 30% bonus on all tax income. So yes, he's a money guy for sure. Then +2 to unrest. Again, that's a negative to public order. And then skilled bureaucrat, +2 to management, +2 to law. Again, that reduces corruption even more so. And then Zoroastrianism. So 5% to Zoroastrian conversion. And that's a new thing for Barbarian Invasions compared to the base game of Rome Total War, where there's religion in this game, which is awesome. I love it. I'm glad to have religion back because we had it in Medieval 1, we even had it in Shogun 1, and it was weird not having it in Rome 1 base game. I'm glad to have it back. So these guys can just make their settlements change religions faster, which is going to be important up here in this Christian settlement, which is I already gave it away. This rebel settlement that's Christian, and having people there that can what's the word? Convert, that's the word. Convert people to Zoroastrianism is going to be important. And we are the only Zoroastrian faction in this campaign, so there's no other settlements that are going to be like, hey, this is a good home for us. No, it's all going to suck. It's the biggest downside of the Sassanids is the fact that every single place you take is going to kind of suck to hold on to because the people are going to not want to be Zoroastrian. All right, Zoroastrian, is that it for traits? Yeah, so what we have here is an economy guy, but his bodyguard unit is one of the best melee combat units in the game. So what do we do with that? It's going to be, I don't know. He's 48, so he has time. He has time left. It's 2 turns per year, I believe, so he has plenty of time left. And if we look at, let's see here, who's making the most money just right off the bat? So total income for Tessafan is going to be 1380, and then Hatra is going to be 945, 964, 658, and then 1082. So this is making the most money, but a lot of that might be from him actually. So let's look at these numbers then. 952 and 428. Okay, so there's a lot more farm income coming from Tessafan for sure. Like a lot more, holy shit. It's like 9-ish, it's 9, 10-ish. Okay, alright. I mean, I guess placing him in Hatra, I don't really want to leave my faction leader in the back, you know? That does seem to be kind of a waste. But there's no one else, there's no other generals down here. There's no general here, and there's no generals here. So yeah, bringing them to Hatra, I think, and then just sitting them in Hatra so that there's at least a good, you know, economy boost plus a, you know, somewhat of a combat leader on my front lines, I suppose is going to be the play there. And then to introduce ourselves to our other leaders, our other characters here. This is the faction heir, Ardashir, and he's a 2-star general, 1 management and 3 influence. And the retinue, this is, so there's titles in Barbarian Invasion. So this isn't like a person that's, you know, part of the club. This is just a title bestowed upon him. And I guess I don't know how this works. Are they just randomly assigned? And since it's a retinue, it can be transferred to other characters, I reckon. Yeah? So, Mobad. This is going to be 5% to Zoroastrian conversion and +2 to law. Yep, good stuff. And Zoroastrian teacher, 10% to Zoroastrian conversion and -1 from unrest. So a little good and bad there, but overall, that's 15% to Zoroastrian conversion. So he's a good guy for quickly converting places to Zoroastrianism, right? Faction heir, +1 to influence, +2 to personal security, good. Commander, +2, yep, we got it. Gourmet of life, 5% bonus in all trade income, that's good. 10% decrease the cost of bribe, that's bad. And 10% penalty on tax income, that's also bad. So not good on the, not a great guy for making money. I don't know, it's a little I don't know, it's a little good and bad, I guess. You get the bonus to trade income, so there is that. And then distrust outsiders, +1 to personal or public security. So public security is different than personal security, I guess. So yeah, okay. So so you tell me then, just to confirm this. So looking down here, and where is it? Where's the one that improves the personal security? So does this only... So this is just for assassination attempts on his life. So does that mean that it doesn't increase the chances of detecting like a spy that enters Testifon? Or is it only like when an assassin tries to kill him? Like as a, you know, added protection to protecting the faction leader from assassins? Because I think that that's what, is it this one? This is the one that increases the chances of catching spies and assassins that enter the settlement. I think is what I'm getting here. And then bureaucrat, +1 to management and +1 to law. Okay. Poet, +2 influence. Good. Zoroastrian. That's another 5%. So that's 20% altogether. 20% increasing to the conversion rate. Yeah, I'll take it. Great. And then this guy's going to be my best general, Melchior. 31 years old. Good. 5-star general. Great. 2 influence. Good. 0 management. He's not a governor. Aran Spabad. +1 command, and then +2 command when attacking. Perfect. That makes him a 7-star general when he's attacking. Wonderful. And then great commander. Yep, +4. Skilled cavalry commander. +1 command when commanding cavalry. Okay. Well, he doesn't have any cavalry right now, but we can get him some. And then skilled infantry commander. Same thing, but for infantry. So right off the bat, with where he is right now, that makes him, what, a 6, 7, 8-star general if he's attacking right now? Get him some cav, and that makes him a 9-star general when he's attacking? God damn, that's a good general. Harsh governor, +2 to unrest, and then +4 to law, okay? Politician, +2 to influence, clean hands. 10% discount on agent training costs. I like that one. Yeah, I like that. Makes the training of agents a bit cheaper. Zoroastrian, and then, yep, 5% to Zoroastrian conversion. Night Fighter. This is the key. This is one of the biggest differences between Barbarian Invasion and the base game of Rome Total War, which is that there's night battles, right? And I have never played one before because I didn't do my homework. But it's my understanding that this is kind of like how Lightning Strike works in the Warhammer games. Just because I haven't played them doesn't mean I don't know they exist. So don't think I'm lied by saying that I played them. I watch a lot of YouTube, okay? So what that means is that if there's enemy stacks that are right next to one another, you can use your night battles so that they only get to fight with their one stack that you're attacking. So they don't get to be reinforced, basically. And you can pick off stacks one by one using that. What I don't know is, what if I'm on the defense? If I'm being attacked, can I be attacked by multiple armies? And I don't get to choose to fight in the night, basically? Like, can you only choose to fight in the night if you're the attacker, is basically my question. Please let me know. Please, because that's very important. That is super important to know. I can get messed up if I mess that up. And then also, the thing with Night Fighter is that if you have the trait, that is, you know, if you can initiate the fight in the nighttime, you get +1 command when fighting at the night, in the night. So that means that if he gets a unit of cavalry in his army and then he initiates a night fighting battle, he's a 10-star general. Insane. And he's only 31, so yeah, he's excellent. Very, very good. How many men are in his unit? Only 26 men in his unit. Okay. And that's including him, so it's a 25-man bodyguard plus him. Got it. Okay, so luckily for Frostbud, there is a unit of peasants inside of it, so I'm going to be leaving the peasants behind as a garrison. And the other guys are going to be coming out, and they're going to be joining up with the faction heir in Artaxarta. There's peasants here as well, so I don't need to train peasants here. Now, I understand that peasants do contribute half of the public order bonus for the garrison bonus that they get in Rome Total War. So, in the base game for Rome Total War, the units contribute the public order. I'll just show you with. I'll show you with the thing. Public order right here. This isn't Fraspa, right? This is a peasant, right? Yeah. So he doesn't even show up. His garrison bonus is not even showing up. And I think that's because his garrison bonus is only 5%. Typically, I think that a 120-man unit in the base game of Rome Total War contributes 10% to the garrison bonus, and it caps out at 80. You can't get more than 80% garrison bonus. At some point, the people are just like, hey, that's enough soldiers in town. They've changed that. They kind of nerfed the peasants' bonus effect to public order in the Barbarian Invasion to make them less useful, I guess, which makes sense. And they halved their public order effect. So I'm assuming that means it's a 5% garrison thing per peasant unit rather than the 10%. My question to y'all is, so does that deter you from using peasants as public order boosters? Do you spend the money on the Levy Spearman, for instance? The 120-man unit? It's a 216 upkeep, that's the thing. 216, and then peasants, it's 36 per unit. And I'm no mathematician, but I think 2 times 36 is still less than 216. So it's probably still worth it to go with peasants. It just means that a full stack of peasants is going to be less public order than, you know, real units in this game, in this campaign. So there might be some questions being asked later on in this campaign. All right, is it time to switch to Levy Spears if I can afford it? But in the early game, I would say that's probably best to still have the peasants hanging out. Now here, we don't have any peasants, but I'm pretty sure that if we take everyone outside and then lower the taxes, they're still happy. They're loving it. Yeah, they love low taxes, and we can even recruit some peasants so that there is a garrison in the next turn. And these guys are going to be moving west, yeah, because hopefully brigands don't spawn and then take our Sakia from me. That would suck so much. Please don't do that. God damn. Like, do I need to keep people back here? Like, I've always been moving my guys out west to attack the Romans, but now after that happened earlier today, I was like, oh my god, what do I need to do? I don't know. So I'm going to be leaving my army here in Artaxarta for this turn, just because it's interesting. Anytime I move west with them immediately, I run into a Roman army, and it ends up being like a kind of a tough fight, actually. It's winnable for sure, but it's kind of a tough fight. And I would rather move out with these guys in tow the funny thing is that when I move out with both of these armies together, I don't tend to run into that Roman army. It's like they avoid me or something. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I prefer that, honestly. I'd rather take this rebel settlement without being molested by the Romans. So that is fine. I suppose I will be leaving this army here in Hatra, and then you guys, instead of putting you on that bridge and just letting you get spanked by Romans, you will just be moving down to Hatra.
March. Out of
It really does kind of feel like I'm leaving the central corridor open, but if you look at the central corridor, it's not open at all. It's all mountains and rivers, so, you know, if they do cross here, they would have to go all the way over here and then cross here to get to Artaxata, or they'd have to go all the way down and come, you know, to Hatra, or they could skip Hatra and go all the way over there. It's just, you know, it gives you time to kind of react to it, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. So, I don't think we have to hold that river. I don't, it doesn't seem necessary, but I could be wrong. Now, I think that I do want the Demantha. My heart tells me to take it. I might be dumb. I don't know. Even if I didn't take it as an opening move, I would eventually take it because just for a win con, right? But should I be taking it as an opening move? Is it that vital? I don't know. It's here's the thing. It can be nice to take a settlement, even a small, shitty, stupid little town. Eventually, it's not going to be small, okay? You can build these things up, right? Can build it up, and once it's built up, all it needs to be is to a second tier, large town. And when it's a large town, it can contribute stuff. It can actually get buildings where you can train decent units and maybe threaten some stuff down here. It's not a great avenue of attack because it's a long distance, but it's something. It's just something to kind of keep, you know, I need to kind of keep the Romans guessing, I think. And my other question is that if I can't take Antioch right away, which I don't think I can, but if I can't, and if this ends up being kind of a slower build-up, then, okay, do the Romans actually get stronger if you leave them alone for a while, or do they start to fall apart? That's my question. Don't they fall apart? You know, there's going to be hordes coming down. I know it's mostly the Western Romans that get messed up by the hordes, but like, isn't there some hordes that mess up the Eastern Romans and, you know, might attract some attention from sources to go out west? And isn't there chances of there being civil wars? Can't I use spies? Oh, here's the other fun thing. Agents actually do have these traits as well, the Zoroastrian stuff. So you can put spies inside of settlements, and they can also convert the population, which can cause issues, you know, rebellions and stuff. So, yeah, he's a 3 eyeball spy, Zoroastrian, so 5% conversion rate. What about do you have anything? So you're courteous, so +2. And then, yeah, expert assassin. Do assassins get the Zoroastrian stuff? That'd be weird. I'm here to kill, but I'll also convert you to God if that's what you'd rather have. I think that, yeah, so my question is playing the kind of the slow the slow game where you can kind of nip away at the edges of the Roman Empire, is that okay? Or am I just going to get messed up? Are they just going to keep building up? Are they going to be so unmolested by other factions they're going to be able to focus all their attention on me and just mess me up? And will my settlements be able to sustain themselves on the income that they can get, you know, or what? Or am I just going to be starved out of existence? I have all these questions, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, because my attempts to take Antioch haven't worked out. Now, the one thing that I haven't played enough of this to test out is, what if they attack me and I kick the shit out of them on the defense, and then I counterattack and it's a bit easier? Yeah? Like, yeah? Could that be a thing? Could I just do that? And how long would I have to wait for that to happen? Because I would kind of, if they're going to attack relatively soon, then okay, let's wait for that. You know, I kind of would prefer that. So I'm going to take the faction leader and then the slingers and these 3 spearmen, and they're going to start marching to Hatra.
Forward.
And then I'm going to take the mounted units because they can move faster. If I take infantry through the desert, it's just going to be a slog. It's going to take them forever.
March.
You're going to be going that way.
No more
And then here, I'm going to take the other cav unit, the Klibinari, and they're also going to be making their way, and they'll meet up. Yeah, they'll just meet up on the way.
March.
And then these 3 infantry units can continue to march to Hatra. And I will train a unit of peasants here in Ctesiphon so that there's at least a garrison there. And we have peasants in Hatra. It's fine. Peasants in Artaxarta. Peasants, and we're training peasants. Okay, so we still have some money to spend. We started off with 7,000. We have some more to spend. Buildings in this game are super expensive too. Now, I'm trying to remember, I already looked this up earlier today, but I think that getting my economy, like, looking better, I think is the play. Also, I save a lot in this game because it might crash. I'm not making a lot of money. So, it seems like that's something that I should fix. And even though it's tempting to rush to getting some better unit producing buildings at some point, and I can talk more about that in the next episode, but I think that I'm tempted to go economy because that seems to be important, you know? So Arsacia, if I get the Royal Road, this is going to be the final tier of roads for the Sassanids, I think. Yes, it is. So if I get that, that's going to be increasing their trade by a little over 200. And I think that's my best deal for an economy building. I already looked at this, but I can't double check. I think that the best build order for the first turn is going to be the Royal Road in Arsacia and Artaxarta. That's going to be the most bang for my buck. And then after that, that leaves me with enough money to build a tier 1 sewers here in Ctesiphon. Not super vital, but it does give a 5% public health bonus, which does increase the public order as well as the health as well. And health is going to increase population growth. Yes, it is. Yeah, so not super vital, but also we have squalor of 45% here in Ctesiphon, which is the most of any of our settlements. I think that the health buildings does reduce squalor, but I'm not 100% on that. That's like one of those things that I think people assume that it does, but I don't know. Squalor might just go up. I don't know if anything reduces squalor other than the reduction of population, essentially. I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. So getting that going. And then other than the peasants that I'm training and just a couple of these settlements, I'm going to be retraining this spearman unit because these other spearman units, as you can see, have this bonus, this experience bonus, which comes from this the militia barracks, which does give experience 1 to the levy spears. There's 2 of the units already had experiences. This unit has 2 experience points, and then this unit did not. So I can retrain it and get some experience in that unit, and I can also train up a unit of nomad archer cavalry, which is the horse archers that are available for the Sassanids. Again, this is another matchup with the Eastern Romans, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like their archer cav are freaking tanky as hell, and they have. Wait, did these guys Roman archer cav? Did they not have long range missiles? No shit. I'm pretty sure that the Roman archers, mounted archers, they're is it the hippotoxidai, something like that? I think they have really very long missiles. I think. Let's see if I can find any. Can't see any there. Can't see any there. No. Okay. There's some in that unit, in that army, that small little army that I oftentimes encounter, but I'm probably not going to in this run through. But yeah, it's like the matchup's weird. It's like the Sassanids are kind of known for their like horse archers, and I understand that the Eastern Romans did like tech up to that, you know, historically to counter the Persian, whatever Persian forces were out east, the Parthians or the Sassanids. You kind of needed some horse archer troops to combat that. So I get it. I understand it's a part of what they did. I understand that, but it feels weird being like out horse archered by the Romans. It's a weird feeling. Yeah, because they have like armor and they're good in melee and shit, and I think maybe the balancing point, I'm not 100% on this, but I think that Nomad Archer Cavalry, let me double check this. Nomad Archer Cav are available from a tier 2. Yes, okay, that's good. From a tier 2 town, it's a tier 1 stables. And the Hippotoxiti, is, if that's how it's pronounced, for the Romans, that might be a tier 4, I think. So I think that's like kind of the counterbalance there between the two. So yeah, I guess that's fine, you know? Like getting Demantha up to a tier 2 so that I could train Nomad Archer Cav, that's actually a solid reason to do that. Yeah, I'm kind of talking myself into taking Demantha more and more. So yeah, that's good. That is good. So I'm going to be getting those guys. For those of you who are new to Rome Total War or Barbarian Invasion, if you retrain units and then put in a training order for a fresh new unit afterwards, it's both going to get done in the same turn. However, if you put in the training order for a unit and then do the retraining, it's not going to get done. So you have to, it's going to take 2 turns for that to happen. And then up here in Arctic Sarta, I'm going to train up a unit of Desert Archers so that they can join these armies when they march west. So that's all of the stuff moved, I think. And yep, agents have been moved as well. That's all done. And now from here, all I need to do is go into here, look at my settlement and adjust the taxes. Yep, we can boost that a little bit. Can we boost that? No, we cannot. And then Hatra can be boosted. All right, all right, all right. There we go. Looking good. So we can drop a save. And hey, look at that. We're going to actually get through an entire whopping turn in the first episode. That doesn't always happen for my channel, by the way. So you can count yourselves lucky. Did anything happen? Anything crazy? No, nothing? See, look. I'm Chris Farley sticking his hand in the eel's nest. This is me right now, like poking my hand in, like I want that. Look at that. I could take that, right? No, there's like forces they're just around. The eagle's waiting for you. It's like around somewhere, okay? I'll show you. I know you don't believe me. I'll show you. All right. Let's take this diplomat and
Yes, my liege. Yes, my liege.
uh-huh. See, they're right there. Also brigands. See, it's only peasants, fine, but still. Yeah, 5 of those units left. Just like I told you they would. You know?
Assassin.
And then, yeah, these guys went somewhere too.
I obey.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. Why are they... Let's just leave Tarsus. Where are we going? Right here. Cool. Sweet.
I obey. By your will.
I don't want to go too far. I was just checking things out.
All moves.
Is there any Hippotoxiti? That's what they're pronounced. Good stamina, fast moving. Okay, so did they not? Oh, okay, so they don't have the long ranged missiles. Okay. Look at these guys. These are some badass spearmen. Total defense 19, 10 missile attack, 6 melee attack. Yeah, just for like a spearman unit, like goddamn guys, pretty decent. Limitani, they can use a missile weapon before charging. My guys can't. My levied spears don't have a missile weapon before charging. It sucks. Anyway, that's probably going to be it for this episode.
Orders?
Just to reiterate, I'm very excited about this campaign, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And also, just to reiterate, I'm like a baby deer, okay? I'm lost and I need help. As you can tell, it's going to look good at first. You're going to see me take this, and you're going to see me take this, and you're going to think, hey, he kind of knows what he's doing. And you'll be wrong. You'll be wrong. And the Romans are going to hurt me, I think. And if I can just tech up to my top tier stuff and smash them, that's one thing. But I don't know if my economy is going to allow for that just on my current settlements. If that's true, if I can, awesome. I'll do that. I'll just tech up and get some really cool badass units and then attack the Eastern Romans. Just to reiterate, I'm only worried about the army matchups with where we're at right now. If I can get my top tier stuff, okay, that's great. But yeah, right now, I don't know. It's just the Levy Spears. Yeah, great. I love, Clibinara. Great. It's great. Fantastic. But, their archers will beat my archers. Their community tenses will eat my spears for dinner and lunch, breakfast. Curtis chefs are going to just stand around and do nothing. The matchups just don't work, from what I can tell. And it kind of requires getting the more late game armies going. And so the question is my economy going to be able to support that off of what I'm going to be able to just get my hands on immediately? Or is it going to be really cagey? And am I going to have to, really nip in and nibble off the edges here and there? Take scene up. I don't think I can brute force my way to Antioch. I don't see that happening. I might be wrong, but I don't see that happening. But if I have to build up and nibble around the edges, I can do that. I think that that's more of a likely possibility, but more so than in any other campaign that I've ever done on this channel, I need your guys' help. Your tactics, your suggestions, and all of your advice and your experiences playing this campaign is going to not go to waste, I hope. So that's going to be it for this one. I just wanted to say that before I go, if you're enjoying these videos and you'd like to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. It all helps immensely. Until next time, this has been Conasip playing Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. Thank you very much, and goodbye.